What else do I have to do to prove that this entire situation has been a massive lie? This is insane. At what point do I get to go back to work and continue earning a living?
After getting hit with a long suspension over assault allegations, Trevor Bauer has spent the last few years fighting to clear his name. He's gone public, posted receipts, and told anyone who would listen that he didn't do it. But now, a violent new footage has leaked. And it's not just resurfacing the controversy, it's lighting it up. Insiders say the MLB is already making quiet moves to ban Bauer for life. And if what's in that footage is real, this might be the final nail in Bauer's career. Let's break it down. The allegations and legal battles. Trevor Bauer's journey in baseball is one of extraordinary talent and devastating controversy. A former third overall draft pick in 2011, Bauer reached the pinnacle of pitching excellence when he won the National League Cy Young Award in 2020 with the Cincinnati Reds. His performance that season was remarkable, posting a 1.73 ERA with 100 strikeouts in just 73 innings during the COVID-shortened season. This success led to a massive 3-year, $102 million contract with the Los Angeles Dodgers in February 2021. However, everything changed in June 2021 when a woman came forward with serious allegations against Bauer. This San Diego woman accused him of sexual assault during 2 encounters in April and May of that year. She claimed that what began as consensual rough sex escalated into non-consensual acts, resulting in injuries including an acute head injury and assault by manual strangulation. The allegations were graphic and disturbing. The woman sought a temporary restraining order, which was initially granted. This triggered an immediate response from Major League Baseball, which placed Bauer on administrative leave on July 2nd, 2021, while conducting an investigation.
One of the women who accused me of sexual assault just got indicted for committing felony fraud against me. Imagine that. Now, let me catch up to speed.
This administrative leave marked the beginning of Bauer's absence from Major League Baseball, an absence that continues to this day in 2025. It's important to note that being placed on administrative leave is not the same as being suspended. It's a temporary measure while an investigation takes place. The legal proceedings that followed were complex. The Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office investigated the case for months before ultimately deciding in February 2022 not to file criminal charges against Bauer. Their decision was based on insufficient evidence to prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt. This is a crucial detail. While Bauer wasn't criminally charged, this doesn't constitute a declaration of innocence or guilt, only that prosecutors didn't believe they had enough evidence to secure a conviction. Despite the lack of criminal charges, MLB continued its own investigation under its joint domestic violence, sexual assault, and child abuse policy. This policy, established in 2015, allows the commissioner to suspend players for just cause, even without criminal convictions. It's designed to address serious off-field behavior independently from the criminal justice system. After a 9-month investigation, MLB announced its decision on April 29, 2022. Trevor Bauer would be suspended for 324 games, equivalent to 2 full seasons, for violating the league's policy. This was the longest non-lifetime suspension in MLB history, demonstrating the seriousness with which the league viewed the allegations. Bauer immediately appealed the suspension, maintaining that all encounters were consensual and denying any policy violations.
At this point, I'm not sure what else I can possibly do to prove my innocence in all this. I did not do what I was accused of.
The appeal led to a 7-month arbitration process overseen by independent arbitrator Martin Scheinman, involving a 3-person panel and over 20 witnesses, primarily via video conference.
What else do I have to do to prove that this entire situation has been a massive lie? This is insane. At what point do I get to go back to work and continue earning a living?
On December 22, 2022, the arbitrator reduced Bauer's suspension from 324 games to 194 games. This reduction credited Bauer for time served on administrative leave in 2021 and reinstated him immediately, though his pay would be docked for the first 50 games of the 2023 season. MLB's statement acknowledged the decision but noted they believed a longer suspension was warranted. It's essential to understand that despite the reduction, the arbitrator upheld baseball's longest ever active player suspension for sexual assault or domestic violence, indicating agreement with MLB's finding that a violation had occurred. Following his reinstatement, the Dodgers had 14 days to decide whether to add Bauer back to their roster or release him. On January 6, 2023, the Dodgers designated Bauer for assignment, effectively releasing him from the team. In their statement, the Dodgers cited the findings of 2 extensive reviews conducted by MLB and the arbitrator as justification for their decision. The Dodgers ultimately released Bauer on January 12, 2023, despite still owing him approximately $22 $22.5 million of his $32 million salary for 2023. This financial commitment underscores the significance of their decision. They were willing to pay a substantial amount to a player who would no longer be on their roster. Meanwhile, civil litigation between Bauer and his accuser continued. Bauer sued the woman for defamation in April 2022, and she countersued for sexual battery in August 2022. The legal battle extended until October 2, 2023, when Bauer and his initial accuser settled their dispute. Under the terms of the settlement, no money was exchanged directly between them, though the woman received $300,000 from an insurance policy. Both parties dropped their claims with prejudice, meaning they could not be filed again. However, the legal complications didn't end there. By 2023, multiple women had publicly accused Bauer of sexual assault, with similar allegations of non-consensual choking and other acts. In June 2023, a fourth woman, Darcy Adana Esamonu, came forward with allegations that Bauer had raped her in late 2020, choked her unconscious, and impregnated her.
In the last 3 years, 2 women have taken legal action against me. Lindsay Hill started all this. You may remember her from this video, as the girl who set me up and lied to the world in an attempt to take my money. Well, today, the only other one, Darcy Adana Esamonu, has been criminally indicted for committing felony fraud against me and another man.
This case took a dramatic turn in April 2024 when Esamonu was indicted on felony charges of fraud and theft by extortion for allegedly defrauding Bauer. According to the indictment, Esamonu falsely claimed to be pregnant with Bauer's child and demanded money for prenatal care and an abortion, which she allegedly used for other purposes.
Here's the thing, she never had an abortion because she was never even pregnant, and that's corroborated by her own medical records.
As of May 17, 2025, Esamonu's trial has been delayed multiple times, with the latest indication pointing to June 2025, though an exact date remains unconfirmed. If convicted, she faces up to 16.25 years in prison. The complexity of Bauer's legal situation is further highlighted by his ongoing disputes with his initial accuser, Lindsay Hill. In 2024, Bauer filed another lawsuit against Hill, alleging she breached their settlement by discussing it on a podcast and social media. He sought $307,181.49 in damages, claiming Hill violated a no-payment clause 21 times at $10,000 per violation. As of April 2025, the court has denied a default ruling twice, and the case is set for revisit in June 2025. Throughout these legal battles, Bauer has consistently maintained his innocence, asserting that all encounters were consensual and accusing his accusers of fabricating claims for financial gain. In a YouTube video posted in February 2023, he shared his perspective on the allegations and the settlement with Hill.
Now, Adana has filed more than 10 police reports claiming sexual assault or harassment against other men, including at least one other professional athlete. But after the Scottsdale police completed their investigation into her claim against me, she's the one being indicted for felony fraud. And not just against me, against another man as well. She made up bogus sexual assault claims and attempted to extort him too.
This ongoing legal saga has profoundly impacted Bauer's career trajectory, taking him from the heights of baseball stardom to an uncertain future outside Major League Baseball. MLB's response and Bauer's career aftermath. MLB's handling of the Trevor Bauer case represents one of the most significant applications of its joint domestic violence, sexual assault, and child abuse policy since its establishment in 2015. This policy, which was created in collaboration with the MLB Players Association, MLBPA, allows the commissioner to take disciplinary action even without criminal charges or convictions. The policy states, a player may be subjected to disciplinary action for just cause by the commissioner for a violation of this policy in the absence of a conviction or a plea of guilty to a crime involving a covered act. This framework enabled MLB to suspend Bauer despite the lack of criminal charges, highlighting the league's authority to address player conduct independently from the criminal justice system. Bauer's initial 324-game suspension was unprecedented in its length. For context, prior to Bauer, the longest suspension under this policy was 162 games given to Sam Dyson in March 2021. Even after the reduction to 194 games, Bauer's suspension remained the longest in the policy's history, underscoring the severity with which MLB viewed the allegations. Bauer's case stands in stark contrast to how MLB has handled similar situations under its domestic violence policy. Aroldis Chapman received just 30 games in 2016 and seamlessly continued his career with the Yankees and later the Royals, while Jose Reyes served 51 games that same year before returning to the Rockies until his 2018 retirement, publicly vowing personal improvement. Domingo Germán's 81-game suspension in 2020 didn't prevent him from rejoining the Yankees until 2023, when substance abuse, not domestic violence, ended his tenure there. Even Odubel Herrera's 85-game suspension in 2022, though resulting in his release from the Phillies and subsequent absence from MLB, pales in comparison to Bauer's punishment. Perhaps the most telling comparison is fellow Dodgers pitcher Julio Urias, who despite being suspended twice, 20 games in 2019 and approximately 112 days through the 2025 All-Star break, received significantly lighter penalties than Bauer's unprecedented 194 games, highlighting what many view as troubling inconsistency in MLB's disciplinary approach. The disparities in suspension lengths have led to debates about consistency in MLB's disciplinary approach. Some critics, including Bauer himself, have questioned why his suspension was significantly longer than others, such as Urias, who was suspended twice for domestic violence incidents. According to some reports, this perceived disparity has sparked calls against MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred, with some claiming clear injustice in the treatment of different players under the same policy. However, it's important to note that each case involves different circumstances, allegations, and evidence, which likely contributes to the varying outcomes. The reduction of Bauer's suspension from 324 to 194 games by the independent arbitrator suggests there was some merit to the argument that the initial penalty was excessive. However, the fact that the arbitrator still upheld a 194-game suspension, far longer than most other suspensions under the policy, indicates that the arbitrator also found significant violations had occurred. Following Bauer's reinstatement in December 2022, the Dodgers had a crucial decision to make. Despite still owing him approximately $22.5 million, they chose to release him rather than restore him to their roster. This decision was likely influenced by multiple factors, including team culture concerns, public relations considerations, and the potential impact on their fan base and sponsors. In their statement announcing Bauer's release, the Dodgers emphasized that they had fully cooperated with MLB's investigation and accepted their findings, showing alignment with the league's position. This stance by one of MLB's premier franchises reinforced the seriousness of the policy violations. From a financial perspective, Bauer's suspension and subsequent release had significant implications. The suspension cost him approximately $37.5 million in lost salary from his $102 million contract with the Dodgers. This financial impact underscores the severe consequences professional athletes can face for off-field conduct, even without criminal convictions. But beyond the immediate financial loss, the longer-term career impact has been profound. Since his release by the Dodgers in January 2023, no MLB team has signed Bauer, despite his status as an unrestricted free agent eligible to sign with any team. This brings us to a critical point in Bauer's story, his claim that MLB is actively preventing his return to the league. In August 2024, Bauer suggested that MLB was blocking him from signing with a new team, asserting that at least one team told him it's not their decision, it's an MLB decision. He further elaborated on social media, mentioning that one team claimed he was too expensive despite his offer to play for the league minimum of $760,000, and another team referenced past issues they wished to avoid media scrutiny over. MLB has consistently denied these claims. An MLB spokesperson stated, "Trevor Bauer served the entirety of his discipline and is an unrestricted free agent available to sign a contract with any team." This official position maintains that Bauer is free to sign with any of the 30 MLB teams, suggesting that his unsigned status reflects individual team decisions rather than league intervention. The controversy deepened in March 2025 when US Representative Eric Burleson claimed that Bauer's exile from MLB might be due to his support for Donald Trump, adding a political dimension to the discussion. This claim remains unsubstantiated by official MLB statements, but has contributed to the ongoing debate about Bauer's unsigned status. Social media discussions on platforms like X, formerly Twitter, reflect the divided opinions on Bauer's situation. Some fans, like iLerno, argue that Bauer has been blacklisted from MLB despite not being found guilty, while others, such as Foul Territory TV, quote a former GM stating that Bauer's MLB career is effectively over, with no team willing to give him a chance. These divergent views highlight the complexity of Bauer's case and the challenges of balancing player rights, league governance, and public perception. The absence of a formal lifetime ban allows for the possibility of Bauer's return, but the practical barriers appear substantial. In the absence of MLB opportunities, Bauer has pursued his career internationally. In 2023, he signed with the Yokohama DNA Baystars of Nippon Professional Baseball, NPB, in Japan for a one-year, $4 million contract. His debut on May 3, 2023, drew a record crowd of 33,000 2022, and he performed well, allowing 1 run over 7 innings with 9 strikeouts in a 4-1 victory. For the 2024 season, Bauer moved to the Diablos Rojos del Mexico in the Mexican League, LMB, where he excelled, posting a 2.48 ERA over 83.13 innings and winning the Pitcher of the Year award. His performance helped the team win the championship, demonstrating his continued ability on the mound despite his MLB exile. As of May 17, 2025, Bauer has returned to the Yokohama DNA BayStars for a second stint, having re-signed with the team ahead of the 2025 season. His international success raises questions about the contrast between his reception abroad and his exclusion from MLB. Bauer's case has sparked broader discussions about MLB's role in addressing off-field conduct and the appropriate balance between punishment and rehabilitation. Critics argue that the lack of standardized penalties in MLB's domestic violence policy leads to perceived inequities, while supporters of the policy emphasize the importance of addressing serious allegations even without criminal convictions. The case also highlights the evolving relationship between sports leagues, players, and societal expectations regarding accountability for personal conduct. As professional sports continue to navigate these complex issues, the precedents set in cases like Bauer's will likely influence future disciplinary approaches. Potential MLB return. As of May 17, 2025, Bauer remains unsigned by any MLB team despite being officially eligible to sign since his reinstatement in December 2022. To assess the possibilities of his return, we need to consider several factors that might influence team decisions and league dynamics. First, it's important to clarify that there is no formal lifetime ban preventing Bauer from returning to MLB. According to an ex-post by Obav Castrovince on May 14, 2025, Trevor Bauer is not on the ineligible list, which means he is eligible to sign with any MLB team that wishes to employ him. This official status means that technically any of the 30 MLB teams could sign him at any time. However, the practical reality appears more complicated. Despite his reinstatement and his willingness to play for the major league minimum salary, no team has shown interest in signing him. This suggests that factors beyond his official eligibility are influencing team decisions. One significant factor is the potential public relations impact. MLB teams are increasingly sensitive to how signing controversial players might affect their relationship with fans, sponsors, and the broader community. The serious nature of the allegations against Bauer, regardless of the lack of criminal charges, presents a considerable reputational risk for any team considering signing him. Team culture and clubhouse dynamics also play a role. Reports suggest that teams like the Atlanta Braves prioritize character vetting, making Bauer's signing unlikely. His history of outspoken behavior and social media presence, independent of the allegations, might raise concerns about team chemistry and leadership dynamics. Furthermore, the precedent of Bauer's previous team, the Dodgers, choosing to release him rather than reinstate him, despite owing him $22.5 million, likely influences other teams' perspectives. If a team with the Dodgers' resources and competitive aspirations deemed the risks too high, smaller market teams might be even more hesitant. Some commentators argue that Bauer's case differs from other players who have returned after domestic violence suspensions due to the severity and multiplicity of allegations. While players like Aroldis Chapman and Marcell Ozuna returned to MLB after serving suspensions, their cases involved single incidents rather than multiple accusations, potentially affecting how teams view the associated risks. Bauer's performance abroad could be seen as a mitigating factor. His success in Japan, 2.76 ERA in 2023, and Mexico, 2.48 ERA in 2024, demonstrates that he remains a competitive pitcher. From a purely baseball perspective, his skills could benefit many MLB teams, particularly those with pitching needs.
No one has ever won the Cy Young and Sawamura Award. I plan to be the first. To do that, I need to win these 7 categories.
However, an article titled "Why Trevor Bauer Will Never Play Again in MLB" from May 2024 argues that Bauer's off-field issues, beyond just the legal woes, may permanently block his return. The article suggests that teams view him as a pain in the ass whose talent doesn't outweigh the potential disruption and controversy. Looking at historical precedents, we can see varied outcomes for players suspended under MLB's domestic violence policy. Some, like Jose Reyes and Domingo Germán, returned to their teams and continued their careers, while others, like Odubel Herrera, never made it back to the majors. These cases suggest that while a return is possible, it's far from guaranteed and depends on multiple factors beyond just serving the suspension. The most comparable recent case might be Julio Urias, another Dodgers pitcher who faced 2 domestic violence suspensions. As of May 2025, Urias remains unsigned following his second suspension, suggesting that teams have become increasingly cautious about signing players with repeated domestic violence issues, even those with demonstrated on-field value. Bauer's own statements about his MLB future have evolved over over time. Initially expressing optimism about returning after his suspension was reduced, he has more recently suggested that MLB is actively blocking his return. In an August 2024 interview with Fox News, he claimed that at least one team told him the decision not to sign him was an MLB decision rather than their own. This claim contradicts MLB's official position, with a spokesperson stating Trevor Bauer served the entirety of his discipline and is an unrestricted free agent available to sign a contract with any team. This divergence highlights the complexity and potential behind-the-scenes dynamics affecting Bauer's MLB status. Social media reactions to Bauer's situation reflect divided opinions. Some fans believe he has been unfairly blacklisted, while others view his exclusion as an appropriate response to the serious allegations against him. This polarization mirrors broader societal debates about accountability, redemption, and the role of sports leagues in addressing personal conduct. In April 2025, Bauer expressed interest in joining the New York Yankees rotation, but analysts expressed skepticism due to character concerns and potential backlash. This instance exemplifies the ongoing tension between Bauer's baseball abilities and the broader considerations affecting his signing prospects. If Bauer were to return to MLB, several scenarios could potentially facilitate such a comeback. Time and changing circumstances might eventually work in his favor. As the years pass since his initial allegations and suspension, teams could gradually become more receptive to signing him, especially if his remaining legal situations continue resolving in ways that support his claims of innocence. Team desperation could also play a significant role. A contending team suddenly decimated by pitching injuries mid-season might be willing to weather the inevitable media storm and fan backlash if they believe Bauer's talent could save their championship aspirations. Ownership intervention represents another possibility. As a Maverick owner less concerned with public perception, or one who strongly believes in second chances, might override the concerns of their front office and public relations team to authorize Bauer's signing. Finally, changing industry standards could open a path back to MLB. If the league experiences a broader shift in how it approaches player conduct issues, or if other controversial players successfully reintegrate into the league, these precedents might create an environment where Bauer's return becomes more feasible. However, these scenarios remain speculative, and the weight of evidence suggests that Bauer's return to MLB faces substantial obstacles. His continued career in international leagues like NPB and LMB may represent his most likely path forward as a professional pitcher. Beyond Bauer's individual case, this situation has broader implications for MLB and professional sports in general. It raises important questions about the relationship between off-field conduct and career opportunities, the appropriate balance between punishment and rehabilitation, and the consistency of disciplinary approaches across different cases. The case also highlights the increasingly complex relationship between athletes, teams, leagues, and public perception in the social media era. The immediate and widespread visibility of allegations, regardless of their ultimate legal outcome, can permanently alter career trajectories and public images. For teams considering signing controversial players, the Bauer case serves as a cautionary example of the potential risks and complications. The Dodgers' decision to release Bauer despite significant financial obligations underscores the growing importance of values and reputation considerations in team decisions. In conclusion, while Trevor Bauer remains technically eligible to return to Major League Baseball, the practical barriers to such a return appear substantial as of May 17, 2025. His case represents a complex intersection of athletic achievement, alleged misconduct, legal proceedings, league discipline, and public perception. Whether he eventually returns to MLB or continues his career exclusively in international leagues, the impact of this case on baseball's approach to player conduct and discipline will likely resonate for years to come. Thank you for joining us for this in-depth look at Trevor Bauer's case. If you enjoyed this video, click on the cards on your screen to see more videos like this.